Hi friends, this is Carmen with you again, and I wanted to share with you today some of the plants that I picked up on my recent trip to Southern California. I went to a couple of nurseries out there that I have been following on social media, and I wanted to visit them, and I just wanted to share with you today what I happened to pick up. This first plant here is an Aeonium Swartkop. And I picked this up at Rogers Gardens in Corona del Mar, California. They have an absolutely beautiful nursery there. I do have a separate video that I created just showcasing all of the things that they have there, and I'll leave the link down below to that. But if you're ever in the Southern California, LA area, definitely make a trip to Rogers Gardens. Anyways, I've been wanting to get some more Aeoniums. This was on my list of plants to try and find when I went out there. And this Aeonium Schwarzkopf is beautiful specimen. You can see it's really nice foliage, beautiful burgundy with the rich green colors in the center there. And this was only $6.99. I believe it was $6.99. $5.99 actually. So I paid better than I thought. So yeah, I'm gonna pot this up. I'm debating whether to do it in its own container or do it in a dish garden creation. So we'll see what I come up with. I still have to get some pottery to plant these up in, so I'll decide at that time if I want to give it its own space or partner it up with some other succulents. I did get a second Aeonium. Now this one had a little bit of trouble on the trip over. As you can see, it's got a little bit of damage on the leaves, and it lost a couple of leaves, but couple of days in a hotel room and then a 6-hour drive back to Phoenix, that I guess that'll do that to you if you're an Aeonium. This is an Aeonium, I believe, Sunburst. It did not have a tag on it, but I believe it's an Aeonium Sunburst. And I've had this issue before with the Aeonium Sunburst where they bruise very easily in transport, and that happened to me on a recent mail order that I received where it was just so damaged that it did not survive. So this time I decided, well, I'm just going to buy one. And I am not able to find it out here. So I picked this one up at Rogers Gardens also. And it's still in great condition. Still a beautiful plant. Getting a nice stem there. So I think it'll recover nicely. Again, I'm not sure if I'm going to give this one its own pot or put it with some other succulents, but we'll decide once I get to Home Depot or some place like that to get some more pottery. The next succulent that I picked up there was this Echeverria nodulosa. Really beautiful color, distinct lines there. Nice big sizes, a 4-inch pot, and I believe this was also $5.99. So some good prices on their 4-inch pots there. But this one I do believe I'm going to give it its own space. I had one of these before and it didn't survive. I think that was my own fault because I was trying to have it inside, and I think it does better outside. So I'll probably put this one in its own terracotta pot and place it out in my balcony. So we'll see how that one does. Okay, the next items that we got at Rogers were actually for a miniature garden or fairy garden that my daughter and I are going to be working on with a holiday theme, a Christmas theme to it. And ever since we made the mermaid garden, she's really been into fairy gardening and wanted to create a Christmas theme one. We already have a little house and walkway and everything. We were just looking for some miniature plants, and there I got these at Rogers, and they had a whole section of miniature gardening items, and we found these little pieces. These were $3.99 each in 2-inch pots. This first one is a Ficus repens green creeping fig is this one. This will be nice as something of a spiller in the pot that can kind of flow over the pot, or perhaps take up some room in the pot and kind of give it a grassy look. This one here looks perfectly as a little tree, and it's a Peperomia Bushy Green, which I guess is a perfect name for that. Peperomia Bushy Green. This is a little fern. I think this would be perfect too as a little tree. Then to add some little bit different shade of green and not going all with the darker green, we picked up this one here. It's a Peperomia Lime. So that will be wonderful. The pot that I have in mind is one that already has a plant in it that is a Foxtail Fern that I think will look good as trees. So be on the lookout for that video. I usually start my holiday decorating fairly early in November, so we plan on doing this project the first part of November, so be on the lookout for that. But yeah, Rogers Gardens has a great selection of miniature gardening and fairy tale gardening items, so definitely check them out. The next nursery that we went to is California Cactus Center in Pasadena, California, on Rosemead Boulevard. And again, I've been watching them on social media, Facebook and YouTube, and I've been wanting to go to their facility for quite a while also. This was a plant that was also, or a version of it was on my list of plants that I wanted to get. This here is Senecio Jacobseni. It is a very beautiful trailing plant. This is a variegated version, but it is also like a tricolor variegation with the green, the cream color, and the edges of pink. It's a beautiful hanging plant. And I got this one there for $14.95. It was actually the only variegated version of the Senecio, so I felt like I lucked out on that. So I'm really excited of how this is going to grow, and I'm going to keep it outside of my patio. So I'm hoping that it will keep that variegation, and particularly those pink edges there. I think those are just really wonderful, and hopefully it'll keep that variegation. But this is a Senecio Jacobseni trailing succulent. And one of the plants that, again, that was on my list of plants to get was a holiday cactus, or Christmas cactus, or Thanksgiving cactus, whatever you would like to refer to it as. This beautiful specimen, I've actually already repotted it, and it was in a little 4-inch pot. But I've moved it into a little bit bigger 6-inch pot to give it some room. I don't have it hanging yet. I just have it sitting on a counter. But it was already blooming with these beautiful white flowers with the little pink detail there. See if I can get it into focus here. Isn't that gorgeous? So delicate. And it also has quite a few buds still on the stems, so it's still in blooming. Now, doing some research on this particular plant, I know that you have to encourage it to bloom, you have to put it in 12 to 14 hours of darkness starting around September time, to encourage it to bloom around the holiday season. But this one was already blooming. I didn't know that you shouldn't really transplant it when it's blooming, but I did come to find that out afterwards. But the plant seems to be doing just fine. It didn't even lose a flower. So I think it'll be okay. But I'm really looking forward. It's already starting to get that expansive look to it with this stem here kind of hanging over. These are great hanging plants. Eventually I will hang it. Thinking of getting a nice little macrame hanger for this one. And hopefully it'll last me many years. I do know some people that have some, they flower year round, so we'll see how it does. You know, things grow differently and flower differently here in Zone 9, Arizona. So maybe that will be the case for this one also. The last plants that we got at California Cactus Center is this little arrangement. This one my daughter picked out. She wanted something of her very own. I'm so happy that she is starting to get into this loving plants. She has her own orchids, her own lucky bamboo, and now she has this. And she's getting into the fairy tale gardening. So it makes me happy to, you know, pass that love of plants on to her, and that she's appreciating it, and it's something that her and I can share. But she really loved this little arrangement, so I think it was only like $9.99 or something like that. So we picked this one up. It has some seed in here trailing over the edge, some watch chain Cressila's there. I believe this is a Aeonium kiwi, a couple of them on this side here. And I believe this is a type of sedum and an Echeverria. Did not have, or Graptoveria perhaps. This one lost a couple of leaves, but it's still fine. Again, it was that trip back in the car probably that did it. But it's a beautiful little arrangement, and it'll last quite a while in this 4-inch pot, and it's something that she can take care of, and when it gets big enough she can transplant it into other pots, or, you know, being in a smaller container, the growth rate will be smaller, so this will last her for quite a while. So there you have it, friends. Those are the plants that I picked up on my recent trip to Southern California. Again, I'll leave some links down below to my visits to Rogers Gardens. You saw the footage to my visit to California Cactus Center at the beginning of this video. I also visited the Los Angeles Arboretums. If you're ever again in Southern California, that's a beautiful place to visit. So I'll leave a link to that below. And also our trip to Disneyland. You know, I saw some beautiful plants there also and highlighted them in that video. So I'll leave links to that below. But thanks so much for joining me today, and I will give you a follow-up when I do have these planted up and in their own pots or perhaps garden dishes. Thanks so much. Have a blessed day.